LSU, national champions, Drew, as well as Odell Beckham stealing the show after the fact. We're going to talk about all those shenanigans, everything else, all the fallout, as well as everything that went down in the locker room. We're going to talk about that. Well, maybe not everything that went down in the locker room, but all the stuff that happened after the LSU game. We're going to tell you about that. We're going to go into the Browns and the new head coach. We haven't had a chance to complain about that yet.
All I know is we're running late because I had to make room for this delicious nectar.
Yeah, exactly. We're running late because of, totally you and not me showing up late, too. Definitely couldn't have been my fault.
Nature calls.
Exactly.
I only answer the door.
We're going to complain about the Browns' new head coach, kind of like everybody has done. But I think there's a ray of sunshine in there. I want to get over that, too. Ray of sunshine through all the darkness out there in Cleveland. I want to talk about the bright side. I'm going to go totally optimistic when I talk about it, and we're going to look at it from that angle as well. As how this is probably just the next best train wreck to hit the city of Cleveland since the last train wreck that hit the city of Cleveland. Or?
That's it. That's all I got. Because it's probably
the train wreck. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. We're going to talk about Luke Kuechly retiring at 28. Is this going to be a trend? This is the second year in a row. I guess you could say it's the same year because Andrew Luck waited until right before the season started. But we've had.
I have a job to do on Sports Around the Bar.
I know. I don't even have the comments up yet either. But we'll get there.
And I'm not doing it, obviously.
Off our game. What else is new? We're going to talk about Luke Kuechly. We're going to talk about the Astros a little bit. I'm sure everyone wants to know what's going on with that and if the punishment was enough for them cheating and stealing signs to win themselves a World Series. And we want to know, from your opinion, would you take it? Would you take a World Series championship or any championship in any sport if you get hit with these kind of penalties? We're going to go over all of that as well as whatever you want to talk about because today is your day. Today's the day where you get to ask all those burning questions on your mind. So for all of that and everything else coming, it's true, we got a lot to talk about, man. Are you ready for the next 4.5 hours?
Yeah, sure, man. Is that what we're doing today? Is 4.5 hours of answering questions?
I think so. It's going to be a while.
Who's interrogating?
You know us.
Who's interrogating us? The IRS?
Thankfully, no. But you know how it goes. It always goes long.
Hey, Jacob, how's it going? Thomas says, what in the hell is going on with the Titans? Thomas, we're still trying to figure that out. Because I think the Patriots actually changed uniforms.
What do you mean? I told you they were good forever ago, didn't I?
Oh, my God. Wes,
they're AFC champions.
Wes,
they beat
good to see you.
12-4 Patriots, the 14-2 Ravens.
That is Save for Friday show, sir.
It is. But I'm just saying, what do my boys got to do to get some respect?
Well,
beat the Chiefs?
Do
they get respect after that?
Yeah, let's be realistic here.
If they beat the most complete team in the NFL, do they get respect after that?
Maybe not have a 9-7 record.
Giants had 9-7. They beat the undefeated Patriots.
That's the Giants.
And you're Mr. I love sticking up for Eli Manning. So you just took a shot at Eli Manning, your man crush, behind Tyler Lockett. Your second
That's
man
your
crush.
guy.
No, it's not. Everyone knows I hate Eli. You're the guy who always defends Eli.
You love New York Giant quarterbacks.
I like Daniel Jones. I like the new guy. I wouldn't say I love him. In fact, I dogged that draft pick, if you remember. I was like, Dave Gettleman doesn't know what he's doing. And then I watched him play in the preseason. And I was like, huh.
Until you met the guy.
And then again. Yeah, until I met the guy. Then I was like, love him. Love the guy.
Love him.
All right.
Wes said, delicious. It is. It is quite delicious. Ian, good to see you. Jimmy says, go Pack, go.
Packers fans are in force.
I think they have the toughest road to the Super Bowl. And
yes.
And that's looking at all teams.
Yeah, because they got to beat the 49ers, and then they'll have to beat the Titans right after that, man. I mean, just, whew.
That's not the road to the Super Bowl. That'd be the make-believe.
Oh, you're talking about
that'd be the make-believe Super Bowl that all the Nashville fans are doing.
That's a tough last two games. I mean, honestly. 49ers have to be a favorite, and of course, Titans. Everyone's taking them in that one. No, but the Pack do have their work cut out for them. Even though I said the Chiefs were the best team in the AFC, I think that might be the hardest team left in the playoffs. The 49ers.
Chris, good to see you. Frank, good to see you. Chris says, Niners, he's already flexing, man.
Corey's saying Kansas City, he's counterpunching. He says,
Corey?
Yes, he says Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. He's calling it right now in all caps.
Do you see how I told you about Corey, about how smart he is? And you said he wasn't. And there he is, right there, saying the smartest thing he possibly could.
I do remember that, saying that, actually, while we mentioned it. Hey, Corey, you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe, man. That's all I can say. All I know is Titans are going to win this one. Andy Reid, only one win against the Titans, and I'm definitely hoping that actually matters, and it's not just one of those fun little ESPN stats that nobody cares about. So that'll be great for Friday's show. We are going to go over all those games on Friday. We're going to talk about all the action beforehand. We just want to get closer to see the injury reports because Adam Humphries is practicing. Jayon Brown is not. I'm sure the Chiefs have things on their side of the ball where I haven't been paying as close of attention. Guys like Chris Jones, who missed last week, we want to get as close to the game so we know exactly what it's going to look like before we tell you what's going to happen.
Jacob says Green Bay and Kansas City Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people want that. A lot of people want that.
What happened to all these people that were telling me the 49ers were going to do it? Remember we were going into the playoffs and it was like 49ers, Ravens. 49ers, Ravens.
Well, after the Ravens got knocked out, they're like, well, it's a domino
49ers got to have it too, right? I'm just saying, the lack of support for the 49ers, I find it disturbing, Drew. I find it very disturbing. Everyone was calling 49ers. They're still in it. And they've looked dominant. What happened to the support?
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I think they're
drying up.
It's a tough team to beat. Packers are going to find out. David says, go Chiefs. I like it, David. I like it.
Chris says, take the Astros title away. I don't... Again...
We can get to that here in a minute. I
think we can start with it because it's one of our shortest topics.
Yeah, dude.
Because obviously we're both like cheating bad, right? Nobody's like, yes, spy on the other team, steal their signs. I don't care. Unless you're a fan of the Astros. I really haven't seen anyone defend them. I've even seen a lot of Astros fans that were like, yeah, that was pretty shady. Like, they got us. Hand was in the cookie jar. What I want to ask, I'll go over it really quick. What I want to know from all of you out in the comments, would you take these penalties and everything that has cost the Astros and everything that is going to cost the Astros to win a title? And it doesn't have to be baseball. It can be whatever sport you want. Because right now, in baseball, the Astros have fired their GM, Jeff Ludrow. They've fired their manager, Hinch. Even Alex Cora, who the Red Sox hired as a manager, got fired because of his involvement for this. So you're already down 3 coaches. They're all suspended for a year. You're going to lose a 2020 and a 2021 first and second round pick. And you're getting hit with a $5 million fine. I'm asking you, Drew, right now. Andy Reid gets the axe. I guess the closest comparison would be your GM, and maybe Eric Bieniemy goes somewhere else and gets the axe from that job too if the Chiefs were caught just spying on everybody. $5 million fine, 4 draft picks, but you win Super Bowl 54.
4 or 2 draft picks?
Well, first and second for 2 successive years.
Oh.
So 4 draft picks, but you win Super Bowl 54. You cool with that?
Yeah, kind of. But that's not the same sport.
True, but baseball's harder, I think, to win.
To be honest, I wouldn't be okay with that at all. Now, baseball, and
Yankees fan here. It doesn't matter.
I guess we're gonna get into it. I don't want to ignore anyone's comments here, but I had a conversation today with a friend of mine that is an Astros fan, and we talked about all of this going on, and he agreed that is what needs to happen. Is the penalty, and if you can't take away the championship, it's already there. It's you just can't do it. And I asked him if it's enough, and really what it came down to is the fact that this literally means absolutely nothing to the Astros. $5 million, they made that easily that year alone. That's $5 million is petty cash at this point.
If it gets you a championship, think about the revenue from the postseason games.
So the 4 picks that we're talking about, how relevant are the 4 picks in MLB? Maybe one of those picks might have worked out, maybe.
And you get what if it's a generational guy? Because baseball is kind of
this is what should be happening right now.
You just shoot those picks.
And because they won the World Series, I think they should kind of get the dagger in the heart. I think you should be more looking at 10 years. 10 years. Not have a first-round pick.
Oof. Well, then again, when you have 18 rounds, you can survive it.
Or first and a second for 10 years. They should get the dagger of death because it is going to show other teams where it's like, don't you dare do this again. Guess what the San Diego Padres would do? Guess what the Brewers would do?
Well, I don't know. Those are pretty high first-round picks. Meanwhile, the Astros are like, we're winning World Series.
Or any of these teams that have been out of the World Series for a while or never have won one.
Sure.
What they would give up to win a World Series. $5 million, 4 draft picks, it's worth it. I will cheat all the way through.
We'll stroke you the check right now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm with you because baseball, you have maybe, 12 teams going into each year that realistically have a chance to win the World Series. So when you get a sport that's that lopsided because of the money, yeah, I think a lot of teams would consider cheating. I'm kind of with you. I almost think this isn't far enough, even though it's pretty heavy fines and pretty heavy penalties. I think baseball... It should have almost hit him with more. Come back, like you said. I don't know. 10 years is a lot, but maybe I'd go 5.
Why is it
6?
Why is it a lot?
Because 10 years worth of first round picks. Yes,
the World Series.
Yes, but they're also not the first team to steal signs. They're probably, so far as I know, they're the first ones to use video technology to do it.
So why?
And that's the baseball thing. It's kind of like we kind of say the same justifications in football. Everybody does it. Everybody steals signs in baseball. Everybody does it. Nobody goes this far, but everybody does it.
But they're the ones that get caught.
Sure. It was like steroids. Everybody's doing it, man.
I mean, it's just part of it. You get caught, you take the punishment.
I'm with you. 10's a lot. I think 5's probably a little more fair.
No, get the dagger
if
of
it's,
death.
But here's the thing: if it's 10 years,
Yeah.
you still need this team to be in the major leagues. How many people are going to say 10 years where we're missing out on our best draft pick? You're not going to refresh the team.
Guess you're going to have to spend some more money to bring in
you're
prospects.
literally talking about bankruptcy at that point, where you could bankrupt the team. And that's not what any sport wants, right? You're not wanting that team to go through. I mean, the Dodgers go through it all the time, but beyond them, it's not something that baseball wants. They're saying we can't make enough money.
I disagree. Just because $5 million and not getting a first-round pick for the next 10 years is not bankrupting that team.
That's the best guy you're going to get in the draft. Because, yes, baseball is very hit or miss.
Don't
you can miss
cheat,
in a lot of
man.
those picks. Sure, don't cheat.
It makes super sense.
Why don't we
to
just
me.
shut the team down? Be like, you're not in the MLB anymore. You cheated. You're out.
I mean, you could knock them down the minor league and bring a minor league team up. I guess that's what you wanted to do. No, this is just this. It needs to be. It needs to be where it's you don't have any reason to be cheating. And don't get me wrong, they're still going to cheat, man. That's just plain and simple. Everyone does it. It just matters if you get caught or not. Let's get back to some of these.
Let's run through some of these comments here. Scott says, NFL greatest athletes on earth. Team makes the Final Four, beat someone for real. Shake my head. I'm not sure if he's talking about the Titans or not, but weren't the Ravens for real? I'm not sure if you're talking about my team or not, Scott. I'm not sure who you're talking about when you say beat somebody for real, but let us know in the comments. We'll clarify. Ray says he thinks they give it. He says he thinks they give it to the Packers. They win against the 49ers on Sunday because they're going to want revenge after the regular season loss. Do you think revenge is a big factor in this game? I'm going to say no. Regular season, I can see it a lot more, but do you think these players need any more motivation to give 128%? I don't. I think everyone's already bringing it. I don't know how much revenge really plays into it.
No,
at this point.
I don't see it. They all get big cash prizes by their team and their contracts getting to the Super Bowl. I think that's enough motivation for most of these teams. And there's not really, a vengeance game in this. I mean, regular season loss, it's tough.
It was rough, though. I mean, they destroyed them.
Yeah, but is it really that much motivation?
No, I don't think there's a single guy in this Green Bay locker room that's even thinking about it right now. And I don't think there's hopefully there's not a single guy in the 49ers locker room, too, that's even saying, hey, we killed them last time we played them. I think everybody looks at this like it's a new game. This is a good team to get this far. We just need to beat them because everybody wants to go to the Super Bowl. That's why you're doing it. Whether it's for the money or whether it's for, the actual accolades and the love of the game, everybody is fully motivated at this point. I'm not sure revenge has that much to do with it.
Ian's over here speaking a different language. He said Titans Super Bowl champions does have a certain ring to it, and then next year the Steelers beat them Titans in Nashville.
I'd take that trade. Deal. Show me where I need to sign. I'll get out the blood. Corey says 49ers versus Chiefs this year. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I do like that. It wouldn't be bad, right?
He's making sense.
Think about the storylines. You could have Matt LaFleur, former Titan offensive coordinator, going up against Mike Vrabel. You could have Andy Reid, the perennial choker, versus Kyle Shanahan, who just... Has anyone choked harder than the Falcons in the Super Bowl? I'm just saying.
Dang, man.
Storylines.
Those are not storylines.
Well, it's mean to say about Andy Reid because we like him, but on the reverse, isn't that kind of the thing about Andy Reid is he can't win a Super Bowl? He always gets you to the show, but he can't win it?
Yeah. But he's changing it this year.
Well, like I said,
if it wasn't for one penalty,
the only
he would have been in
storyline
the Super Bowl last year.
The only storyline I don't really see in between would be Titans 49ers. Well, I guess you could even say that. You have Kyle Shanahan, the guy they should have hired instead of Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
And I say that now that Mike Vrabel's got my team this far, but again, I'm not backing down. I think they could have done better than Vrabel, but hey, he has them ready for the moment. I'm hoping he has 2 more games of just brilliance in him. We'll see.
David said the Chiefs in Green Bay, it has to be, but he also says he thinks we can all agree he's glad the Pats are not in the picture.
And Thomas, Patriot fan, says he loves the Niners. He's only rooting for them because of the former Patriot at the helm, and Jimmy Garoppolo. That is probably one of the best things I've seen from Patriot fans is they will root for the 49ers and they still like Jimmy Garoppolo, even though he used to be a Patriot and let go. A lot of times when that happened, you're like, forget that guy. But I think everyone's like, yeah, he got kind of a raw deal when he got traded a little bit. So it's nice to see him succeeding out there in San Fran. I bet you they wish they still had him. David says he thinks he can just agree the Pats aren't in the picture. You and 88% of the country. Yes, I think it's time for somebody new. Jimmy says they need to send a message that you can't cheat in baseball.
Yes.
Agreed. All right, a couple more of these. I'm going to go through looking for something that's a little bit more relevant to what we're talking about.
Well, you took us all off. Thomas says, guys, I'm a Patriots fan. Of course I'll take the penalties.
Yes.
Of cheating and winning championships.
Well, I was going to say, it's been pretty smooth. Right? It's been pretty good.
Yeah, you got, what, 6 of them? Hey, you're doing all right. Scott says he bets Pete Rose is pissed. 1 year. Yeah. That was another kind of thing. It's like you ban him for life pretty much of going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, the Hall of Fame, I think, is different, too. I think this might have...
How does Pete Rose not belong in the Hall of Fame?
Because he cheated, and he bet against his team.
Where
he shaved points
during his coaching career, not his playing career.
Still,
he's going to the Hall of Fame for his playing career.
But you're in control of stuff. Career. You're like, hey,
but the Astros cheated. But it's
I know.
Let's give him the World Series.
I'm not talking about that.
Let's give him a good old slap on the wrist, and we'll forgive him later on.
You're totally missing my point. When it comes to the Hall of Fame, I think a lot of these players just are dead in the water now. Baseball is the most unforgiving Hall of Fame.
Not be dead in the water.
He is, though.
When you talk about his career, he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But baseball is stingy. They said if you're getting in here,
obviously not to the Astros.
Well, that's what's on the field. The Hall of Fame, baseball's Hall of Fame. All the old writers for baseball that vote everyone in, stingy. They're not the ones handing out this penalty. That's Major League Baseball. Because at the end of the day, Major League Baseball says, Houston's the third biggest city in the country. We'd like it if people kept showing up to these games. So, yes, we need to give the semblance of, we're bringing the band hammer down on you. We're going to make you pay for cheating. But on the other hand, we would really still like people showing up to these games and making a lot of money off of Astro games. That would be nice. Especially because they all revenue share. So, even the Padres right now are like, well, maybe don't go too hard on them. So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Ray Pratt says, borrow to Carolina. Is he seeing it? Seeing a trade?
No. And here's my point, Ray. What would it take to get the Cincinnati Bengals to come off that pick? I mean, the guy's had the single best college football season as a quarterback maybe ever.
Probably more than $5 million in 4 draft picks.
Yeah. I think you're right. Probably more than 2 first and 2 second round picks, I would guess. I'd say it's probably, 5, 6 first round picks? And maybe they're saying, we'll suck.
Oh, man. And just when I thought...
We'll tank for Trevor.
Just when I thought Scott was cool, he says, yeah, it's the Titans not getting any respect.
Yes.
You should live in Titans country. There's plenty of respect going on around here. Plenty.
Yeah, you suffered like Mandela, man. The Chiefs just back in the AFC Championship again. Must be hard wearing that KC in your chest.
This is a great comment. Antonio, good to see you, says Goodwill wants a sequel in the Super Bowl one. Packers and Chiefs 100 year of the league. Just imagine what they can do to their PPR wise. Yeah, I think so.
But those are sitting around.
So when those flags
start coming in against the Titans, I don't care if we're laying cheap shots or not. When the flags start coming in, Drew, I'll be like, they just wanted it to be that way.
It's goodwill. This is the goodwill of it. Oh,
you might have meant Goodell, too. That might have been autocorrect. But that's okay. It could be goodwill, too. Good, everybody wants that.
The old T-shirts sitting around in goodwill, and I was like, you know what?
Well, yeah, I took it as like, hey, all the old NFL fans are like, hey, it'd be cool that on this anniversary that we get the Chiefs and Packers again. The old school matchup.
Why don't we say Goodell and Goodwill want a sequel?
Fair enough. We'll take you. Never mind.
It was probably Roger Goodell.
I'm not saying.
I only read what they put out there. That's my fault.
Thomas says the only possible vengeance matchup would have been the Niners and the Seahawks, but even in those kind of situations, how much more is there to give? Maybe there is that extra little edge with an in-division game, but again, when you get this far into the playoffs, everybody knows what's at stake. I really don't see that big of a swing just because I dislike the team that we're playing against. Like, you're already going to dislike anyone over there for the next 60 minutes.
Martavius wish you don't remind him about
the Shanahan
about
thing.
The Super Bowl.
Sorry about that, man. But you got to admit, if somebody's got to win it, you get in there and you're like, man, Kyle Shanahan could really use the Super Bowl after that whole Falcons debacle. Or you're like, Andy Reid, he's due. That's the storyline. We're going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
When it doesn't happen, we'll be talking about what could have been. A couple more. Chris says he's feeling some tension in the room. Chiefs or Titans? Spoiler alert. We're gonna. The line is right here. We're sticking on. I think we're sticking to our faithful.
Yeah, and as you can see, as this line, we didn't do a very good job of it because the Titans are on my line, the Chiefs are on your line.
And those are the cans from last week as well. So
I know this line's terrible.
Yeah, it is. Kind of like that -7 for the Chiefs. It should be +7.
It was
They're going to get destroyed.
It was -7.5. Okay. Don't forget that half.
Just wait till that money comes in. The Titans are going to be like 11.5-point dogs again, and then they'll win it. If they ever give you 11 points on any NFL game, you take it. I would take Chiefs-Dolphins. Like Dolphins from the beginning of the season. If you gave me 11.5 points, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take the Dolphins. Let's see what happens. They're still NFL teams.
Will's wanted to talk a little bit of NBA. He says, as a Mavericks fan, he feels that they are one key player away, preferably a defense/rebound guy. Does Mark Cuban make a move? And if he does, who would he try and grab?
Ooh, for the Mavericks, who would you try to upgrade with? I think the problem that you're kind of sitting in right now is you have Luka Doncic, who is playing very well. I don't want to say it's a problem that he's playing well, but he's young.
Yeah, well,
you sell out?
We just need him to stay healthy at this point.
Yes, but do you sell out in this offseason, trade all your draft picks away to try to win a championship right now by making a trade to get somebody, or would you be better served letting him get this year under his belt? Kind of like the Nuggets last year. I felt like the Nuggets could have made another trade at the deadline, but they're like, we got good chemistry. We have this young and developing core. I think this is the year you got to lose as a Mavericks fan. I don't think you look at this year like, hey, it's time to win. I mean, even Porzingis is not an experienced player from all the injuries in New York.
Two different kind of owners, though. The Nuggets are not really one of those big splash mouth kind of middle of the season trade organizations. Now they definitely
did grab Porzingis, though. Is that changing?
Well, no, what I'm saying is for the Nuggets is that's kind of more of an off-season move.
Oh, you're saying the Nuggets
are.
Sorry.
So, like, that doesn't really surprise me. I mean, it makes sense that Will's trying to get at is when you look at the owner that Cuban is, he's definitely one of those guys that are big splash kind of owners. The question, and this is kind of more on me, I wish I had the list of free agents or people that are possibly sitting there looking, going, hey, we're not going to,
And they're going to trade for Anthony Davis. He's coming up on a contract. The Lakers are going to do
I mean, or the guys on 1 year that are coming up on free agent, or the guys that are on the kind of the limbo of this teams that are looking to trade. I really honestly don't know, but I feel kind of the way you do, where it's like, why does this year have to be the year you do that? Why trade up your assets that you could possibly, like you said, he's young. You can still grow a team around him while he ages into the prime of his NBA career.
And if you can get a deal, if it's someone coming up on a contract and you're trading first-round picks, which, again, when you're a good team in basketball, are worth very, very little to you. I mean, how often does somebody come out of pick 26 in basketball?
It does happen, but not very often.
Exactly. So that's why everybody's not afraid, like the Rockets. They're not afraid to just ship those picks off to everybody, like when they were trying to get Chris Paul. They're like, we're good anyway. They're not worth a lot. I wouldn't say it would be insane for the Mavericks to go and try to acquire somebody. But what I will say is I don't think it's the right move. I think you need to get some more experience with this team before you're ready to take that last kind of push to bring somebody in. Especially when you have two young stars that haven't really had that playoff run. I think you're almost in the same territory as the Nuggets were last year, except not quite that good. I think the Nuggets were better as a team still. But you're coming up in that territory where these guys just need some experience. I don't know that this year is the year to sell out and try to bring somebody in.
David says it's Andy Reid's time, and the cheating thing with all that the Pats get away with should get a hefty fine, but it never happens. He doesn't watch baseball enough to really know. Let me tell you right now, David, and I said before, $5 million, 4 picks is not a lot for a World Series. A lot of teams would do that, plus a little bit more or a lot of more to win a World Series.
And I agree with that too. Like, I think just about everyone, I think even the Yankees, who haven't won in 10 years, would be like, yeah, if we get one,
$5 million, 4 picks, all right.
We can sign a new coach.
Yeah.
We can sign a new GM.
I mean, realistically, it's a shame that people lost their jobs, but that is...
But they'll be back.
Someone
will do it. They're good coaches. They'll be back.
Someone will pick them up. There's
Sean Payton was the same way after Bountygate. You know, the Saints they could have cut ties, but they're like, you know what? Sean Payton's a pretty good coach.
Instead, they gave him an extension.
Exactly.
They're like, we're sorry you missed out on a paycheck. How's this?
We'll see you when you get back.
Here's this giant bonus of a check.
Exactly. Ray says all he can say is one of us is going to be crying on Sunday, and we are both facing each other. But one's going to be happy, and we talked about that. How often do we both get it? I mean, every year both of our teams are out before they get to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Someone's going this year.
I cry every year, so I don't know what difference is it going to make.
I don't. You just expect failure when you're from Nashville. Also, Ian says he loves who tops who matchup in the Tennessee versus Kansas City game. Does Kansas City stop Henry, or does Tennessee stop Mahomes? Or does neither team stop either one of those guys? Do we just get like another 32-35 matchup, and Derrick Henry has 200 yards rushing, and Patrick Mahomes throws for 450 yards? All those options, very likely.
Very likely.
Ian goes on to say, what if both defenses show up and both get stopped?
Who's talented beyond the two shining stars? Who's more talented of a team?
Of a team, I think the Titans have the better team, but I think what the Chiefs do is a lot better than anyone does on offense. And again, yeah, they're the most complete team because they bullied some bad teams at the end of the season.
You got like a all-pro punter.
Yeah, exactly. Most complete. Our punter's great. Well, I say complete. We don't have a kicker. But
congratulations there, buddy.
We have a guy that's never kicked an NFL field goal. Outside of that position, though, the Titans are deep. Titans are deep. Even Tremaine Brock, who's coming in, is good.
Oh, man. I can't wait.
Who's better?
I can't wait until Kelsey
Do you want to go by position?
Tears the defense apart.
And he might. I can't wait until, well, it's not going to be Byard. It'll be Kenny Vaccaro because they're like, you're expendable. Goes in there and concusses him again. And then he's standing there moping on the edge of the sideline like, Titans did it to me again? We're signing Jonathan Cyprian for this game. This just in.
Thomas says, next year, Mav fans, next year, let the team develop a little bit more. So Thomas is right on board with what we were saying. Right on board.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think next year is the year that, and you can do that in free agency. Why spend the assets now when you can go get somebody for free in the offseason? Chris says 49ers will stop the Packers offense again. Rodgers is going to have another long day in the Bay Area. I don't love that offensive line going up against this 49ers group. I think they're going to have to throw the ball more than they want to. Under LaFleur, they've tried to become more of a running team, and they've tried to get Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams involved. This is all Devontae Adams. And they've got Richard Sherman out there to stop him. He usually doesn't trade sides of the field, so you can do some stuff to get Devontae Adams away from him. But I think this has got to go through the air for the Packers to win. And it's got to be quick.
Ian's always putting his Lakers out there. He's excited about it. Will says Luka's problem is he can't play D. That's kind of what
Comes with time, too.
Well, he stole the words out of my mouth, man. That's exactly why I say, why does it have to be this year? Let him develop. Offensive players take a while to learn to play defense.
Yeah. You know who also doesn't play defense? James Harden. And I know they haven't won yet, but, man, they sure make a run every time.
Yeah, but Luka reminds me of a player that can learn.
And I'm not saying he's James Harden, but I'm just saying
James
your star
has no effort to play D. He's like,
yes.
Just let him score. I could score more.
All I'm saying is your star doesn't need to play defense to go far. In basketball, you could have, a bunch of other guys come off the bench and do everything else to play defense. You can have a weak link and still be okay. Usually things get a little dicey, but, outside of, Golden State having better players than everybody, let's not forget, Houston was one Chris Paul injury away from probably beating Golden State in its heyday.
Yeah.
Just saying, not everybody has to play defense.
Again, we like all comments here. We appreciate everything. Brad says, did you guys just grab my ass?
Well, Brad, that might have been Odell Beckham, because I don't know if you saw after that. Great segue into this. In the LSU locker room, they had a little bit of an incident where everybody was smoking, and some journalists decided they wanted to be butthurt Berts and call the police on the LSU players who were having a celebratory cigar. First off, beta move. Don't do that. Second off, Odell Beckham slapped the police officer's ass when he went in there. What was that about?
Pure sportsmanship.
You just good gamed him?
I don't know.
Is that what it was? He was just excited about the LSU win. He was like, good game. I don't care who it is. I got to touch some cheeks right now.
I prefer not to get my butt slapped when I was playing sports.
By another man, they can keep their hands off my ass. Yeah. But here's my point. My point is, why was Odell I understand he's a former alumni from LSU. He's a famous receiver, went on to have all the success. Does he really need to be in the limelight in this moment when these guys just won the national championship? Even if he's a booster, even if he's a guy that's giving all kinds of money to the program, do you really need him on the field handing out money to players and now getting LSU's program investigated by the NCAA and everything? Why? That's all I can say. Why? After all this, why? Are you even here? Why does it always have to be about Odell?
Dude, I don't know.
You're not trying to get in his mind?
No, I don't care what millionaires do with their free time. I don't know what.
But my thing is, these guys aren't millionaires. The LSU kids, they just had a great moment. Best moment of their career.
They have a right. I think they have a right to celebrate however they want to.
And I'm cool with that, too. Obviously, anyone that's calling the police on these guys, if I'm LSU, I'm figuring out who they are, and I'm like,
well, I guess now, as long as you're 21, smoke those cigars. Who cares? It's their choice.
We totally waited.
Probably more than 3/4 of them. This is literally probably the most significant thing in their life that has happened or will ever happen.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying those reporters, if I'm LSU, we're done doing business with you. We'll get other people to cover us.
Thomas says, dude, the Tennessee punter is an absolute hero. Right. He allows...
Brett Kern.
He allows his defense to not have short fields. They always have a long field.
Isn't that what a punter's supposed to do, though?
That's why he's an absolute hero.
He's all pro.
He's making Tennessee Titans look better than they really are.
Brett Kern. No, I agree. Don't get me wrong. He's the MVP. We win. He's going to be the MVP. I love Brett Kern. Don't insult that man. I know you're making fun of him, but
I'm just making
everything
fun of
he just said, great.
I'm just making fun of you. That's all it is. Tyler, good to see you.
Not everyone be Kansas City. It's not always Madden rules. Just go for it on 4th down every time.
Tyler, good to see you. He says that the Chiefs and Titans game should be a great game. He said, go Chiefs.
I don't think I'm talking to Drew through the whole thing. I'm not even going to do it. Because no lead will be safe. And if we go down, God, I don't even want to consider the possibility. I don't even want to consider the possibility.
Are we going to try to watch this game together?
No. I'm going to sit in a hole alone. And I'm just going to wait till it's over. And then I'm going to come out and just brag. I'm going to be the worst winner ever. And if we lose, I'll be like, dude, it was a good run.
I just don't want to be shut out. Let us score a touchdown, okay? Yeah. Let us score a touchdown. That's all I want.
I'll admit, I was worried when Houston had 24 points for like half a second. Then I was like, wait a minute. It's the Chiefs. They score 24 points all the time. It'll be all right.
Will says, can Kansas City stop Henry?
No, but I don't think you have to stop him. You just got to score some points.
And he says Henry is on the injury report with a sore back from carrying the Titans through the playoffs.
Yeah. But here's the thing: everyone's talking all this mad smack to Ryan Tannehill, and they're like, "Oh, he's threw 72 yards in one game, and he threw 82 in the other." Dude threw the ball 14 and 15 times successively. At what point are you like, it's when you don't ask him to do anything and he doesn't? I mean, he's throwing touchdowns when you need him to throw touchdowns. Isn't that Lamar Jackson? He's not throwing for the yards, but he throws touchdowns when you ask him to.
This isn't Will putting this out here, so I just want to clarify that. People that are talking smack about Ryan Tannehill are the people that haven't watched the Titans play. Because when Ryan Tannehill... It
was the best 72 yards you've ever seen.
I'm not even talking about the playoffs. I'm just talking about this season. Like, if you guys watched how this offense and this team rallied around Ryan Tannehill when he became quarterback, no one would be talking smack about Ryan Tannehill. He's a stud. Plain and simple.
And Thomas says the Patriots have a better defense than the Chiefs, and they couldn't stop Henry. The man's going to have another 180-yard game. One thing I will say, I think if the Chiefs put their mind to it, they could take Henry away. If they're like, we're engaging 8 on every play, we're sending the house, we're going to make somebody else beat them. But the problem is, I'm hoping the Titans are smart enough in that situation to say, all right, here comes the play-action pass.
Well, here it is. Everyone knows you run the ball in Kansas City. We have like the 26th worst run defense this year. A lot better than last year, by the way.
We're moving up.
Like five spots.
Maybe next year we crack 20.
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows you run the ball in Kansas City. But the problem is we have 12 wins. So if everyone knows to run the ball in Kansas City, then we should have 4 wins. We have 12. So what? Run the ball in Kansas City. That doesn't mean you're beating Kansas City. You got to put up points.
Yes,
and
I
that's
agree.
what's
the Titans are going to have to score. And I think everyone knows that.
And the Titans can do that. I'm not saying the Titans can't do that. But is stopping Henry or not stopping Henry change any of the outcome? I don't think so. I think Henry could still run for 150 yards and lose.
I do too.
And that's kind of my point.
I think time possession is going to be huge. I think the best thing, and like you said, everybody knows this. Houston tried to do it all game. Every moment they had a lead against them, and it just didn't work, and it was stupid that they tried it for that long when it wasn't working. But I think time of possession comes down to the biggest part of this game, and here we are previewing the game before we said we were going to preview it. But if the Titans, I think it really matters how they get those yards. If the Titans are getting it, if they're picking up 30 yards every drive and then punting, obviously it's not that good. But if the Titans can sustain 5 and 6 and 7-minute drives, shorten the game, keep the Chiefs' offense as out of rhythm as humanly possible, and limit the points they're going to put up, that's the best way to beat them. And the Chiefs know that too, which means they're going to be like, okay, everybody's going forward, and we're going to try to take Derrick Henry away. The real question is, unbreakable object, unstoppable force, clashing each other. Which one gives first? And again, we'll find out on Sunday.
Antonio goes into it further. He says, hypothetically speaking, say Kansas City does stop Henry and Tennessee does stop Mahomes, who do you have more confidence in, Tannehill or the Chiefs running backs?
Well, I mean, it's got to be the quarterback, right? Regardless of who anyone is. I think quarterbacks.
We can go to shovel passes and screen passes, and they can't take that away
Damian
from
Williams, Ryan Tannehill. Okay.
No, I'm not even.
I know.
I just don't. Hold on.
Believe me, if the Titans could trade.
Our next strength isn't our running back, okay? It's our receiving core.
Well,
at least
if you take Mahomes out of the game, I'm assuming the receiving core is not
Matt
doing
Moore
well.
can shovel pass and screen pass perfectly fine, okay?
When I says take him out of the game, I don't think it means hurt him, Drew. I think that means stop him.
Okay, but you can't stop shovel passes and screen passes all the time.
You can. You can stop them at the line of scrimmage. No. They may complete it. And
we will do end rounds, okay, to our tight end, our receiving core. Trust me, they will get the ball in their hand.
Also, Ray says he thinks that all the teams are contenders besides Green Bay, and he also thinks the weaker team won, meaning Green Bay against Seattle. And he's a Steelers fan. He just thinks that the reffing has been terrible these last few years. Broad scope of things, I think it's been worse than it has been, but that might be recency bias, where it's just what I've watched lately, and I might have complained back then about the reffing being worse. Recency bias might have something to play into that, but I will say this. I don't think Green Bay was a weaker team against Seattle. I think Russell Wilson was basically like dragging that team to the finish line with all the injuries they had and the defense having regressed a little bit. I can't say they were the better team, like across the board. I think, yes, did they get that last call that Green Bay needed to kind of seal the deal, but everyone forgets it would have been 4th and inches. They were going to dive for it and probably get it because Seattle's defensive line outside of Clowney couldn't do a whole lot in that game. Again, Ray, it's one of those things that I don't want to say you're wrong because Seattle didn't deserve to be there, but I don't know that I'd say they were the better team. I think there's a reason they were chasing the game for most of it. How about that?
I'm sorry, hold on. Keep going if you got to.
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay. I'll keep going through a couple more of these comments. Ian says OBJ should be like Randy Moss and stay in the stands. I agree. I think Randy Moss has more at stake.
And he has a son out there.
That's what I'm saying. Than Odell Beckham does, who just happened to go to the school of LSU. And don't get me wrong, it's cool he's supporting him. I'm not saying don't support him, but what I am saying is don't make it all about you. Don't be on the field the minute they win the Super Bowl or the national championship and try to make it about you. I think what you can do instead is talk to the guys after the game, talk to them before the game, but let the spotlight be on those guys. Don't be on you handing $100 bills to somebody that's going to get them investigated 5 minutes later in the NCAA.
Okay. Whew, Sean just terrified me. Sean, I did not hear about that. That's a shame. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's father passed away at the age of 75.
I thought you were going to tell me The Rock died.
Dude, I would probably have to get out the show because my wife would
console your wife.
My wife would be in tears.
But look at the bright side. No more competition. Because The Rock and then you. Or I feel like it's a tie. I'm going to say it's a tie.
Yeah.
In your wife's eyes. It's a tie.
You know, you match me up. There's a little bit of a size difference, but let's not get into it.
But you got heart?
Let's not get into it.
You got heart.
Where the size matters, who's coming out on top?
The Rock.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming. I don't know. All right, we'll move on. A couple more. Ian says, do we think the crowd noise at Arrowhead Stadium will play a factor? Yes. Yes, I do. I think it got in Deshaun Watson's head because that was the worst game of football since the last playoff game I watched Deshaun Watson play.
I did
but that one was in Houston.
I lost the comments. Ron said, how about them LSU Tigers? Yes, man. Great win for them. Great, perfect season. Ron, I know you're excited. Perry, good to see you, man. I lost your comment. I'm sorry. I don't know what he said.
Tannehill has no commercials nationally. Advantage Mahomes. That's true. I think State Farm might just pay the NFL to get the State Farm Bowl. You know what? That's my conspiracy theory.
Ryan Tannehill has his wife. I don't think he's worried about making
No, I'm not saying that. But when that State Farm money hits that NFL account, I'm telling you, the calls are going to go towards Green Bay, and the calls are going to go towards Kansas City. State Farm's going to get what it wants, okay? They didn't spend all this money advertising for the Chiefs and Packers not to play each other in the Super Bowl. Okay, all right, we're moving on. Any final thoughts on Odell Beckham? Have we slammed him enough? Have we? Because I think the worst thing is like getting the kid that you handed the money to investigated by the NCAA, and now he's going to face possible suspensions. I don't remember who it was. I was paying more attention to Odell Beckham because, again, spotlight's on him. But come on, man. Even if he leaves college, it's like that smear is going to be on him because you had to make the moment about you. Not cool, dude. Not cool.
I don't know, man. I mean, why do you think that is the right opportunity to hand this kid money?
Because I'm Odell Beckham. Why do I need to wear a $100,000 watch that's going to cut people in the pile on games 1 and 2 and then tell the NFL, you can find me, I'm not taking it off? Like, why everything? You're Antonio Brown Jr. right now. Odell Beckham needs a redemption arc. He needs to have like that come to Jesus moment where he's like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be the bad guy anymore. Maybe I need to be the guy that everyone can actually look up to. Because when he came in the league, everyone was like, this guy's amazing. Do you see these catches he's catching? And then, like 3 years later, everyone's like, he makes some great catches, but I wish he would stop talking all the time. Okay.
Chris says he can't wait for Sunday. Getting goosebumps. He's ready and pumped. He's a Niners fan. Cheers to you, Chris. I think we couldn't ask.
Good luck to you, man, and I'm saying that to every team.
I think we honestly couldn't ask for better conference championship games. I think these are going to be two great games.
Even though we've talked smack, I say good luck to everybody who's in there. Because right now, I mean, it's one of those things that you've just watched your team win at least one playoff game to get here. You're excited. You're ready to go. These opportunities only come around a couple times a lifetime. So good luck to everybody involved. Packers, 49ers, Chiefs, and Titans.
I actually wouldn't be mad if any of these teams win a Super Bowl.
Exactly. I'm just glad it's somebody new.
Yeah, any of these teams.
And I don't know that Green Bay falls in that somebody new category because they've been there. But
2010.
New enough.
It was almost 20 years or 10 years ago.
New enough. I know, math's hard for me too. But
no, I was thinking 2020. I was like, dividing, subtracting, multiplying.
You just pulled a number.
Move the 2.
I do that all the time.
And then add the 8, and I was like 20. And I was like, wait a minute, that's 10.
Absolutely. We'll move on. Next comment. Next.
I actually had to use the pie chart too. That's what really messed me up.
Let's talk about the Browns. Browns or Kuechly? Fielder's choice, Drew. It's on you.
Then I Wikipedia'd what happened in 2010, and then I came up with 20.
All right.
That's how I do math.
You looked at Wikipedia. Fair enough. Luke Kuechly or the Browns? Would you like to talk about them hiring Kevin Stefanski, or would you rather talk about Luke Kuechly retiring at 28? Both tragedies in their own right.
Yeah. Well, Luke Kuechly, we can go on to that. Came out and said he's retiring at the age of 28 after 8 years in the NFL. 7 voted to.
Thomas says slam OBJ more. What more can we say that hasn't been said?
7 years to the Pro Bowl, voted the Pro Bowl. It is a tragedy because, he's really choked up. You could obviously tell that he wants to play. In his mind, he's ready to play. His heart, he wants to play, but his body's not holding up. And this is the game that is, so vicious that we all love, where you see some of these people where their body just can't do it. Not everyone can be a Ray Lewis and play at such a high level and take the pounding of in their body. And Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, where they sit there and they're the ageless wonders forever. Unfortunately, this is what this game is, and I think that's also why we love it as much as we do.
Yes.
Patrick Willis is another one of those guys that, in that same position, retired at such a young age.
I think that was almost like he was like, I hate this organization.
But at the same time,
as crazy as it is that he played there the whole time.
He literally, his body is breaking down, and there's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Luke Kuechly, I think he's already had like double digits concussions. I think
Yes.
this is the right move for him. It's a shame because at 28, you would think he still's got at least 4 more years of great play in him. Just because he is a big hitter, but that's not why he was good. He could see the game or the plays develop in front of him before it even happened. He knew guards were pulling before the guard pulled.
It was everything. It was the coverage skill. It was the ability to take the ball away from everybody. It's the tackling. Like you said, it's the reading of the game. It's everything.
I can't even remember
he was the most
who it was.
linebacker we've ever seen, I think.
I can't remember.
Maybe you could say since Brian Urlacher. Because even Ray Lewis wasn't a coverage guy. He wasn't going there and taking the ball away from enemy teams all the time.
I can't remember who said it, but they're like it's a little spiff that everyone plays in sound where it says, "Don't throw the ball out there." Luke Kuechly's out there. He like intercepted the ball like a 30-yard bomb, and he literally jumped out of nowhere like a cornerback and intercepted it.
Exactly.
I mean, he is an all-around player, and he's gonna be greatly missed in Carolina, no doubt.
The one bright thing I will say, and I've heard a lot of people making the Andrew Luck comparisons, and they were saying like, how, is this going to keep happening? Are we going to get guys that are 28 and 30 and everything like that retiring? One thing I will say is he played 8 years in the NFL too.
Yes.
I think we kind of underrate how young he was when he came in. He was a Pro Bowler 7 out of his 8 years. He's been around. An 8-year career in the NFL, that's a long time.
The answer is yes.
Especially for linebackers. And will we see more of this? Maybe. Because, again, the money's going to start coming in. I think guys are getting a little bit smarter now where they're saying, a lot of more of these studies are coming out, the CTE, everything else, and they're going to say, you know what?
Barry Sanders. It's been happening for ages now. This is just what it is.
But the other thing, even Barry Sanders, he didn't make this kind of money.
No.
He didn't have these options.
But Barry knew that his body was not going to hold up.
Yeah, but these guys are saying, my body won't hold up. and I've got millions of dollars in the bank. I can do anything I want in life now.
Yeah.
Why do I need football?
Because they love it.
Exactly. And some guys will continue to love it, and some guys will say, I played my 4, my 5, my 6 years, my 8 years, my 2 years. I mean, who was the San Fran linebacker that retired after 1 year in the NFL, and he told him he was going to do it?
Bowman. Yeah, and he had great...
No, it wasn't Navarro Bowman. It was the edge rusher.
Bowman is Boland. That's where my mind went.
Retired after 1 year. Even told the 49ers, draft me, and I'm retiring after 1 year.
And
they were like,
great.
Sure.
Didn't he get 100 tackles that year?
Yeah, and they were like, sure, okay. And then he played 1 year.
I think it's Boland. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that guy was a stud for 1 year.
Yeah, and then rode off in the sunset, right? I'll say this. Final thoughts on Luke Kuechly. It's sad to see it because he's a great player. Do you think... I'll ask one more question, I should say, instead of saying something. Do you think it had something to do with where Carolina is as a franchise right now? Did he look at it and say, I'm 28, I could come back, I could play, but I've had a lot of injuries, and this franchise looks like it's taking its downward turn? I mean, there's questions at quarterback. They fired Ron Rivera. They have a new guy coming in who's going to want to change everything over. Am I going to go sacrifice the next 2.5, 3 years and win 6 games? Did that come into the decision at all, do you think? Because I think it did. I think if Ron Rivera was still there and this is still a 10-win team, he'd be saying, maybe I have enough in the tank to come back one more time.
I don't know, man. You got to just hear it in his voice, man. You need to listen to Tim talking. You got to look at him. Just listen to it. You can hear, like, his heart's breaking. He wants to play. But he said to play, he wants to play at a high level. He needs to be able to react fast, hit hard, and be there. And he goes, I cannot hold up. I think this kills him. I think this literally kills him inside.
And I'm not saying that's not the majority.
Right. But
does that decision become a little bit easier when you're like, I'll give it a shot?
I think it doesn't hurt.
If the team needs you. If they were like, Andrew, without you, this team doesn't.
I hate to say that was his
playoffs.
reason because I still think he has a bond, and he even admitted also in it. He's like, even though the games were great, it was what I created in the locker room, in practice, behind doors, in the linebacking room, the office, or whatever it was. This is what you live for, these moments, and creating the bond that you'll have forever. So yes, I think Ron Rivera hurt a little bit. But I don't think that was what the cherry on the top kind of scenario. JP, good to see you. He said LSU is probably the best team since Miami in 01. It's arguable, though. Let's not forget about how good Nebraska was in 95. Let's not forget about that.
Well, he said
either.
Since 01 is what he said.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I mean, 95 Nebraska was great. The thing about the Hurricanes, they had so many amazing players that went on to the NFL.
I get it.
And LSU's going to have those guys go on. But those guys were great NFL players, too. Are we going to see that out of this LSU group? Is Grant Delpit the next great safety? Is Jefferson the next best receiver? Is Burrow the next best quarterback? Are we going to get some of these other players that are just going to step up and be these household names in the NFL? Do you think we're in for that with LSU?
Maybe Moss's son, huh?
Maybe Thaddeus Moss, even though I don't think he's eligible for the draft this year.
Well, it might not be this draft, but he's still part of this team.
Well, true. Is this LSU group going to go on to be the next best?
It's a good possibility.
Kind of draft class to come out of school?
I know he said, arguably, but, since I just wanted to remind people that how dominant Nebraska was.
You just wanted to talk about Nebraska. That's what it was. Yeah. You always got to bring out those Midwest teams.
Yeah. I'm glad you noticed.
Yes. But I'll say this. I have my questions about the players moving on to the NFL the same way that, the Hurricanes just dominated. I mean, you're not going to get like Vilmas. You're not going to get all these great players that came out of that 01 Miami team that just, I don't want to say took over the NFL, but man, they had so many guys that just translated so well. It's so hard to say that they're going to be that good. It's such a high bar that I can't say that that's going to happen. But I like the opportunity for it. I mean, Grant Delpit's got to tackle a little bit better. I think Jefferson has some questions because Burrow was so good, and Burrow's got questions because his receivers were so good. But a lot of that plays off of itself, where they can go, Jefferson can go get drafted by the Seahawks, and all of a sudden Russell Wilson's going to make him great. Or Joe Burrow could somehow magically fall through Cincinnati's fingers and land with a good organization or something along those lines. Or Cincinnati turns it around. You know what? Enough of the pessimism, Drew. Maybe Cincinnati turns it around and gets some great receivers, and he's the next Super Bowl winning quarterback for the city of Cincinnati. Maybe Ohio gets to take one home. But I just got to see it first before I'm ready to say that this team is as good as the 01 Hurricanes.
Perry might have been answering a question. Did he say it was Luke Bowman? Maybe that was the linebacker. I'm not sure. He said Luke, and then it was a bunch of periods, and he said NFL Network is annoying. It's not like the president got shot and interrupt the whole first half of the Packers rebroadcast. Interesting.
I think he's talking about Kuechly, saying that they brought it up right away. But, I mean, this is the best linebacker in football. Maybe you could say Bobby Wagner's better than him.
I guess that
But you're
makes
talking
sense.
about 1 and 1A. You're talking about...
Because it wasn't... Sorry, I think it's Chris Boland. Sorry, I'm still stuck on that.
I still don't remember what his name is, so I'll take your word for it. I'm drawing... It's... Obviously, my mind's terrible, so I don't remember what his name is. But just going back, good to see you, Kathy. Good to see you as always. Let's round this out, Drew. Let's talk about the Browns.
Well, Cody, good to see you. He says the 92 Miami team was a great class as well.
Yeah. Hurricanes used to be great. What happened?
They're in Miami.
Now
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
weren't they
the
in Miami before?
Hurricanes, well, yes, but the Hurricanes were amazing. And then gone are the days. What I am tired of, though, is every year hearing that the Hurricanes are back. Tired of that in college football. Can we just wait till they're back to say they're back? Can we get to that point? I'm still waiting on that.
I think Florida's going to be the next team that's going to be decent out of there.
Oh, they're going to be the favorites for the SEC SEC East next year, not the whole SEC.
I do want to say hi to
West
Kathy, my second mom. Good to see you.
The
Glad you're
SEC
here.
is going to be ungodly in the West.
Oh, and Perry meant the retirement stuff. I'm sorry. So,
Gotcha. I mean, it's one of
you
the best
interrupted
linebackers
a
in the game.
first half of the Packers rebroadcast, man. Yeah, I think it's important.
I mean, they're going to talk about it. It's the NFL Network. You got to
Yeah.
do something through those reruns.
Because you can start it right back where it was. It's not like the game got paused.
All right, Browns hire Kevin Stefanski from the Vikings after being appointed offensive coordinator mid-season. Well, I say mid-season. It was like week 15 when they decided they weren't going to run the ball all the year before. Is this the right hire? Because we were just saying about Cleveland. We were, I'm going to go dark first, and then I'll go ray of hope. We were just saying Freddie Kitchens is an offensive coordinator who doesn't have a lot of experience and is not ready to be a head coach with this many big personalities in the locker room. Is he any less over his head? Maybe a little bit because he's been an offensive coordinator for longer, but still. Come on. This is the most Jimmy Haslam hire I've ever seen in my life.
I want to. I am going to give this guy a chance.
Yes.
I am not gonna ream him like I did the Freddie Kitchens hire, and I think it's still gonna backfire on me. I want to give him that glimmer of hope, that
Benefit of the doubt, right?
That little sparkle that this might be it. But I mean, if it was really down to him and Josh McDaniels, and I get what a dumpster fire Josh McDaniels left the Broncos organization after he left, but how you just talked about how you need experience.
Yes.
And you go off and do this.
Well, it's funny because everybody under the sun is like the Browns need some experience. They need a guiding hand to shape these great players and great talents they have.
They're even like, we need experience.
Maybe emotionally immature players, right?
Yeah.
Great players, emotionally immature. You need that leader that is emotionally stable and ready to lead this team. Instead, you hire an offensive coordinator who's never been a head coach. And I'll say this. I liked his press conference. And this is my ray of hope, all right? You ready? The ray of hope coming in on Cleveland.
Let's do it.
Maybe it won't be a train wreck. I liked his press conference. I felt much more reassured having listened to him speak about, the right things that they want. Like, your personality is optional, your production is mandatory. That's what we want. It was everything I wanted to hear, and it was delivered confidently and everything. It never seemed smarmy to me.
Yeah.
Freddie Kitchens always seemed kind of little. I don't want to say smarmy. It's not the word for it.
And he was there prior, and he already kind of probably established himself as whatever he was to be a coach.
Yes.
This is a whole new fixture coming in, so maybe he can put down kind of this. You are going to be disciplined if you won't play if you don't act right in this Browns organization. Now, I want to give them an opportunity, and trust me, I don't want the Browns to be good because they're in the AFC. Don't be good. Kansas City needs another Super Bowl after this year. But
yeah, because they're going to miss this year. They're going to need to get one eventually.
No, they need to get 2 rings in a row.
Okay.
They need to be one of that that elite class.
Colts fans rallying around the AFC South saying he's taking Tennessee for the upset for the 3rd straight week. You've been on it, Chris. And you know what? I hope you're on it again.
Chris, I appreciate you being here.
This is a Colts fan.
I appreciate you being
rallying
here,
to the
but
cause.
I really want you to dig deep inside yourself.
Waving that AFC
and
South
think about
flag,
what you just said, okay?
saying, you know what, Chiefs talk a good game, but when it comes to the playoffs, it's just not good enough. Defense wins championships, Drew. Chris, I do appreciate that. I needed that. I do. I need that.
You live in Titans country. You hear it everywhere you look about how great this team is.
And yet I still need more reassurance. But I'll say this. I will say this. Let's go back to the Browns. Just real quick. Let's go back to it. Even though I loved the way the press conference sounded, he felt so much more self-assured. He seemed so much more in control than I ever felt like Freddie Kitchens was.
He seems more of a leader of men.
Yes. Even though I liked all that, they're just words. That's back to the bleakness.
So you didn't get
just words.
I just said you got the feeling he's a leader of men. You said yes, but realistically, that was not what you felt.
Well, I feel the same thing about Joe Judge. Like when the Giants hired him, I was like, okay, that was not the hire I would have gone with. There were probably a lot of other guys you could have gone with.
And I get that these guys are like, they're used to limelight, they're used to speeches, but I felt like all these hires of new coaches were like, man, these guys seem like they're going to do pretty good.
Yes, and that's exactly my point. When I saw Joe Judge got hired, I was like,
and LaFleur,
not the way I would have gone.
Or the Baylor's.
Oh, Rule.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. And then I heard him speak, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't the worst thing after all. So I'll say this. My last thoughts about Kevin Stefanski. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to go as critically as we went because they had success with Greg for the Jets, whose last name I can't think of. I can see his face, but I can't think what his name is.
I'm sorry, I was
the defensive
distracted.
coordinator. Who's the Browns' interim head coach? Greg Williams. Thanks for nothing. Even though they had Greg Williams, they let him go after having a lot of success in
I
Cleveland.
was giving it to you
You were getting
telepathically,
there. Yes.
and I was giving you Williams. I wanted you to.
You wanted me to work through it.
You're growing up.
Appreciate that. Even though Cleveland moved away from Greg Williams and they went with Freddie Kitchens, we were obviously just like, what are you doing? I don't feel like this is that kind of scenario, but it's still not the first choice I would have went with. Again, you have Josh McDaniels that's had some success. You've had other guys that, like you could have jumped the gun and just paid Mike McCarthy more than Jerry Jones would have paid Mike McCarthy to go grab him. You could have done anything. It could have been Ron Rivera, who the Washington Redskins just plucked early as possible and said, you know what? We're going to go get an experienced guy that's going to help our young quarterback develop. Browns didn't do that. They're going for the young offensive coordinator that is, the next revolutionary. He's the next guy that's going to have the next best system. Maybe this is the one that works out. But again, to me, it's like rolling the dice.
Cody says, loving that Titans defense now. The offense seems to be moving along.
Yes.
Yeah. Perry says, has anyone here ever used swarmy in a sentence, or was that swarm?
Smarmy. With an M.
Swarmy.
Smarmy, yes.
Well, he used a W, so in the
Swarmy isn't like swarma, which is food, but like smarmy means...
But then he used an M at the other one, which is swarm.
Get a word of the day calendar,
Swarmy.
people. I can't help it.
He used two different words, sir.
He did.
All right, Chris says the Chiefs can't stop the run. They have the best running back in the league. No chance. And then Perry pretty much answers the question for me. Chiefs only lost them by 3 points and by fluke.
I killed you last time you said fluke.
A fluke special teams play, and I will again a fluke.
It's not a fluke when you mess it up. Like when you make a mistake, it's not a fluke. It's a fluke when like a bird flies in the way and it hits the ball.
A rare chance of happening fluke play.
It's not a rare chance of happening when it's not a chance at all when you mess up.
Fluke.
But anyway, back to it. Yes, it was a 3-point game. I want to make this point about it. The Chiefs were missing a lot of offensive linemen in that game. The Titans were missing Jarrell Casey. They were
Patrick
missing.
Mahomes wasn't even healthy.
Well, you say that, but he threw for 440 yards.
Yeah. Look what he could do when he's not healthy.
Exactly my point. Everybody, this is going to almost be an entirely new game. The Chiefs were missing offensive linemen. Patrick Mahomes is going off an injury. Tyreek Hill, I think, was banged up a couple weeks prior to that. Titans were missing their best defensive player in Jarrell Casey. They were missing their guy that was supposed to guard Kelsey in Jayon Brown. They were missing Corey Davis as well in the passing game, which you don't respect, but I still respect when you're missing that kind of receiver. This is an entirely new game. Both these teams are more healthy now than they were before.
I don't not respect them.
You disrespect Corey Davis at every opportunity.
Only because you told me he was the number one receiver.
He is the number one receiver.
And I got to laugh at that every time
He is the number one receiver as soon as he leaves Tennessee after next year. You heard that here first.
And I said that.
No,
I said as soon as he puts on any
didn't.
other uniform besides the Titans uniform, he might be a number one receiver.
And then you looked at A.J. Brown and you're like, maybe.
Hey, no, I said A.J. Brown's the number one receiver.
Even in Tennessee.
Even in Tennessee.
You know what the difference is?
Like 5 inches?
Tannehill.
No, I'm kidding. Like 3 inches?
It's really not. Corey Davis is tall. He's not like. Have you ever seen him?
A.J. Brown's taller.
He probably is.
Yeah, I met Corey Davis. I asked him if he's ready to be a chief, and he told me that
when he was sitting down, when he stands up, he'd be like, "Are you ready to be a chief?"
And he was like, "You're crazy," and move on.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Let me let me sign your Titans stuff. And I was like, that's not mine. It's my friend's. He wanted 2 signatures from you.
And yes, Perry, it was a weird game. Obviously, it was regular season, not always as much at stake. But both these teams are just health-wise in a much better place. I'd like it a lot more if the guy who scored the game-winning touchdown was playing in this game, Adam Humphries. And we'll know if he's going to play later. But he's missed so many consecutive weeks. He practiced this week, but it was like on the most limited faction ever.
I just hope Chris Jones plays.
Yeah, same thing. What if Chris Jones isn't in this game? What if Travis Kelce has some kind of setback with his knee?
You guys are going to take him out anyways. You guys,
but maybe he'll get some passes before then. Maybe he plays a half. My point is that game is going to be entirely different.
Yeah, we don't want to get too much into it. I really honestly don't. I obviously will answer any questions, but please leave this till Friday because trust me, we'll
get into it. That's going to be like 98% of the show, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, someone else is playing in the NFC.
The Niners and Packers are playing, so they need to be.
I think one of the teams wears green.
The other one kind of looks like they want to be the Chiefs.
So look for that hard-hitting NFC champ or that NFC kind of coverage that we're going to have for you. But yes, we'll be talking Titans and Chiefs on Friday. And you know what? I think we're going to disagree some. But that's okay.
No, dude. You already told me you're taking the Chiefs for the win.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Sure. Just wait. I'm fading on them. Titans are going to get this one too.
The most complete team in the Tennessee Titans.
I didn't say that. I definitely didn't say that. You said that about the Chiefs.
I said they're more complete than the most complete team in the NFL, which is the Chiefs. So.
They are more complete than the Chiefs because the Chiefs play offense. Then that's it. No, like, we're good.
Where's your offense?
We'll just score 98 points.
Don't even get me started right now.
I don't have to. Derrick Henry's going to get us started on Sunday. All right. We'll be back on Friday, in case we didn't mention. 7:45 Eastern, 6:45 Central. We're going to break down, I was going to say all the games you see on the bar, but those are from last week. We're going to break down 4 of the teams that are on the bar. And we're going to talk about the games that they have to play.
Yeah.
We hope
someone was too lazy to change out the cans.
We were already behind. We were already late.
I was doing something.
Somebody had to take a dump right before the show.
Dude, I had to make room for beer. It's the most important thing you do every day.
Okay. A couple more of these comments. Chris says, do we see the Bucks winning the NBA championship? Again, last year for the Bucks, I think, was a building year. I think they can do it in the East. I think they can for sure go. And the best thing I can say, there's no Golden State this year. Yeah. It's wide open. Yes. I really like the Clippers. I even think the Lakers could be one of those teams that when everybody comes back healthy for the playoffs, that's all that matters.
I think they're gonna represent the East. I just depends on who the West is.
Can they do it? Of course they can. Will they do it? I think they're like 3rd or 4th on my list now.
Let me say this. To be honest, if they don't play the Nuggets, which is a good possibility because the West is difficult, I hope they do win. I hope they win. I could see them winning. They play the Nuggets, they won't win. Plain and simple.
Well, if they play the Nuggets, it's got to be in the championship. So,
yeah.
Big prediction. Drew's already taking the Nuggets for the NBA championship.
No, I'm not. I want that to happen. That's not going to happen.
What if they don't even make the playoffs? No, I'm kidding. They're making the playoffs. It's basketball. They've already decided who's in the playoffs.
Yeah, that is not true.
Someone's got to be the 8th seed.
They're a very good team.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's like already written in stone. They're going. Can we just get to the tournament? All right. Great show. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we
me too.
covered a lot of stuff. A lot faster than I expected to.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
Oh, Justin's there. What's going on, man? Want to read it?
He says, it's been a while. Good to see you too, Justin. Crazy to see my Titans in the AFC Championship. And it's also crazy to see his Packers as well. And he's hoping for the best outcome. You know who he didn't mention? The Chiefs.
Well, when you're consistently one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the most complete teams, some people ignore it because it's not always so crazy there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have such a low terrible
we're just used to them coming up
organization,
short. The question is,
terrible baby blue crappy organization like the Titans. He's like, holy crap, how did they get there?
another 9-7 year where they just turned it up. And this is going to be another year.
No,
think about it this way.
Someone was smart and was like, you know what? Ryan Tannehill sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Marcus
Yeah,
Mariota
Miami said that. And they were like, Ryan Tannehill sucks. And they traded him, and he's actually like one of the best quarterbacks in the
someone's
NFL.
like, Marcus Mariota sucks. And they're like, hey, that guy's better than our guy. Let's go get him and play him instead.
Which, like I said, forever I told you, I was like, the Titans are a good team. They just need a quarterback.
And what did I always say?
You shit all over that.
No.
You shit
I
all
said they have a
over that.
Super Bowl
I didn't
contending
say that.
defense.
I forgot
They
we're not
just
supposed
need
to
a
swear
different
on
quarterback. So I agreed with you.
I don't think so.
No one ever knew what
You were
their,
like, they need Aaron Rodgers. And
no one ever
right.
knew what their offense was because you guys were always handicapped by Mariota.
I did, because I'm watching every one of those games, and I was like, look at that. He's wide open, and Mariota threw it over his head.
There's a lot of players that are wide open in the NFL that don't get the ball thrown to them.
No, he threw it at him. It just went 10 yards over his head.
There's a lot of players that get the ball thrown in their direction. It just went to them.
Okay, all right, we're rambling now. Back on track. Chris says, where are you guys watching the game? I'm going to be at home.
Away from each other.
I'm going to be at home, sequestered in a dark room by myself. My phone is going to be off.
No, he's asking where you're going to watch the game, not what you're going to do after the game.
No, it's going to be during the game. I don't want anyone bothering me. I'm going to be watching on like an 8-inch TV, just tiny. If they lose this, I swear, I'm going to have to sit alone and just brood in the dark for a little while. And the worst thing is I have to watch the game that comes afterward, and I'm going to be in like the worst mood ever. So I'm going to come in and be like, oh man, Packers are trash, hate the Packers, 49ers garbage, Chiefs garbage, why did the Titans not? No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be at home. Again, I'm going to enjoy this game, and I think I'm going to wait for a 24-point first quarter lead to start bragging.
Please do, because that's never failed anybody playing the Chiefs before.
Houston, you sweet, beautiful fools. All right, we'll talk about them later. Justin says, let's see which one of you can change those cans out the fastest. Oh, man.
It's all off air.
After Sunday, here's a beer bet for you. Loser has to put the winner's can in the Super Bowl matchup.
Let me tell you this right now. There will be so much Chief memorabilia stuff on this thing, regardless, on this bar, regardless if they win or lose. I will have more Chief stuff on this bar if they lose. So let's hope the Chiefs win. So you can't handle more Kansas City stuff? Oh, but there'll be more Kansas City stuff.
You know what? I can deal with that.
I have more Kansas City
would
stuff.
We could hang a Kansas City flag in front of the camera if it got my team to win. I wouldn't care. And it could just be my voice coming through that Kansas City flag like, see, boys? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I would take that in a heartbeat. And you know, like I said.
Cody says, are you
Not
guys
worried
going to
about
do an NCAA pick'em? Maybe a charity type deal? We haven't
We'll
really talked
consider
about
it. We'll consider it.
We haven't talked about it, man.
If we're talking college basketball, I would like to do it. We'll do what we can. Again, we haven't always had the interest that we were looking for, but
that's an
a
issue.
lot of that is distribution more than it is our community. So,
and participation. I think a lot of people want to participate.
and I think a lot of it is Facebook is like, that's cool, nice of you, but
No,
we're going to show it to 73 people.
We're kidding, Facebook.
Yeah, we love
you.
too. Yes, we're going to try to do something for the NCAA tournament again.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest moments in sports.
I was going to say I can't wait for it, but then I'd be like skipping all of these next 3 games, and I can't.
That takes priority.
Yeah.
But everything else. He says, Justin says, let's see which one of you can he said that. I read that already. All right. Are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a great show. Great show, except for the part where you made fun of me there. Other than that, it was a great show.
I never made fun of you.
The brooding starts now. That's all I can say.
When did I make fun of you?
Just a second ago. That's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm going to cry about it off camera for now. We'll be back on Friday, 7:45 Eastern, 6:45 Central. We're going to talk about all of these championship games. That's it. We got 2 games to talk about, and we got all the time in the world to talk about. Anything you want to talk about in those matchups, you come see us. Just like Mark Ingram said. You got something to say? You come see us. I'm still living in the moment.
Guys,
I hope the Titans aren't.
Guys, thank you all for the likes, comments, and shares. Again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. We appreciate everyone that even just threw a quick little comment in there or stayed for the whole entire show. You guys are all greatly appreciated here around Sports Around the Bar. Thank you so much. I do want to give a special thanks to Jacob, Thomas, Wes, Ian, Jimmy, Chris, Frank, Corey, Will, David, Ray, if I can keep talking here, Scott, Luke, Ray, Antonio, Chris, Martavius, Brad, Tyler, Ron, Perry, Sean, JP, Cody, Kathy, Chris, and Justin. You guys are all awesome, and I really, again, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all of you.
Any final thoughts?
Go Chiefs.
Friday is going to be contentious, is my final thoughts. Go Titans, number 1. Number 2, I can't wait to argue for 60 minutes. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a 60-minute argument.
We have to do due diligence to the 49ers and Packers. You know that.
We do, yes. Maybe we talk about them first,
Dude.
just to be fair.
That just makes the show so much longer.
And we'll be like, ooh, well, on to something we care about. AFC Championship. All right, we'll be back on Friday, guys. Thank you so much, Drew. As always, my co-host, I am Jakey Bartender. We will see you on Friday.
See ya. Thanks, Ian, for the shout-out.